Hi, everyone, and welcome to this special mini-sode of the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hello.
And we are the Wine Pair.
Yippee!
If you're new to the Wine Pair Podcast, these mini-sodes are just shorter versions of the regular podcast that we put on during weeks where we might be traveling or handling other life stuff. And instead of tasting and reviewing 2 to 3 wines under $25 that are easy to find, which is what we usually do in our longer episodes, in these mini-sodes, we focus on things like wine etiquette or wine education and wine tips. And we try to make it fun and understandable to regular, everyday people like us.
Nice.
And our podcast is recommended by Decanter Magazine, which is pretty fun.
So cool, because they say that we're chatty.
Oh, you just wanted to say that. So, Carmela, here's a topic we have covered from time to time in our regular episodes, and is probably appropriate for summertime, and that is, at what temperature can you, or should you, serve certain wines? It is generally an accepted practice that white wines are served cold, and usually very cold, and that red wines should be served at room temperature. Am I right or am I right?
You're right. But I'm wondering, does this involve adding an ice cube?
No, we're not going to talk about ice cubes, but I like it. I like that you're riffing.
I feel like maybe we did a mini-sode on that.
We might have. I don't remember. We've done a lot of stuff.
Maybe not. Maybe we should.
Okay, but back to the whole thing
Okay.
about temperature, wine temperature. It's usually not an issue for most people unless they have a wine cellar or a wine fridge, because those are generally kept in like the 55 degree Fahrenheit or 12 degrees Celsius range for reds, and maybe 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius for whites. Although we would say a temperature about 55 or above normal fridge cold can work really for any wine. But that's a digression. Now, before we get into whether or not you can chill red wines, I will also talk about something that we have covered before, and we have a link to an article about in our show notes. Did you know we have show notes? Yeah. And that is the 2020 rule. Do you remember the 2020 rule?
2020 rule. There's so many rules these days.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well,
Remind me, Joe.
As a reminder. Okay, so the 2020 rule is this. White wines that are in a cold refrigerator, you take them out of the fridge 20 minutes before you serve them. And for red wines that are at room temperature, so not in a cellar, but at room temperature, you put them in the fridge for 20 minutes before you serve them.
Okay, that's good to know.
It just takes the edge off a little bit. So right off the bat, the 2020 rule already indicates that we should be slightly chilling our reds. So right off the bat, right?
Right, because that's closer to probably a cellar temperature.
Exactly. But you never hear about it, really. You rarely ever hear about it. And believe it or not, there are some reds that you should probably serve a bit chilled, and we'll get to that in a moment. But some people would say that we are crazy for even thinking that we should chill red wines.
Should you ever serve wine warm?
Well, I mean room temperature, but I don't think, unless you're doing like a mulled wine or something like that.
Okay.
No, I just
That's
don't
why I was wondering if you were going to go off on a tangent about that. No, okay.
But should we talk about some facts, Carmela?
Yeah, give it to me.
Some facts. Okay. So first of all, cooling a wine helps the alcohol to mellow out. And this is important because from both a taste and a smell standpoint, alcohol can have an impact. And we'll talk about that in other mini-sodes as well. In the mouth, too strong of an alcohol flavor can overpower a wine, and that means it may desensitize or tamp down your palate. And from an aroma standpoint, alcohol actually evaporates as it gets warmer, and the evaporation of alcohol can mask some of the more subtle aromas and taste in the wine. So cooling a red wine can also help bring out more of the fruit flavors of the wine and can tamp down on the tannin a bit. So cooling a wine can actually help it out a little bit.
Which is interesting. It's sort of, I feel like, not the case in a lot of other things.
No.
A lot of times you heat things.
To get more flavor, maybe.
Right. A little more concentrated flavor. But
interesting. Now, most experts suggest that a very high tannin and high alcohol wine like a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Barolo or a Bordeaux should not be chilled beyond this like quick pop in the fridge, because it can make the tannins too strong. It can make them taste almost metallic in nature. So we would still say that a quick chill helps them to mellow out, especially if it's a warm day or if the bottle is at or above room temperature.
Okay.
Now, other lighter-bodied red wines like a Gamay or a Beaujolais, which is made from Gamay, or cooler climate Pinot Noirs, or a Grenache, or a Blaufränkisch, or a Valpolicella, or a Zweigelt, are not just okay, but they're actually good to serve a little chilled. And I will say, we did the chicken wine in our boxed wine episode a little bit ago, and it's in the fridge. It's Grenache based.
It's been in there for weeks.
It's been in there for weeks. It's Grenache based.
Still so good.
It is. No, I mean, a little chilled. I think it's actually pretty good.
Right, you've been pulling it out when it's been in the fridge, and about that 2020 rule.
Pulling it out. That's right.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Okay. You're right. Okay. Now, when we say chilling a red wine, we don't mean refrigerator cold, but more like right out of the cellar or wine fridge cold at about 55 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Now, again, 2020 rule, if you've had them in your fridge, let them warm up for about 20 minutes before serving. And if it's a really warm day and you're eating outside in the sun, it's not unreasonable to have red wines periodically like popped into an ice bucket or in a cold wine sleeve from time to time to cool them off. You could put an ice cube, I suppose, in it if you really wanted to.
Well, you could get those kind that don't actually melt into water.
I like that.
Yes. But you should have a wine sleeve around all the time.
Our daughter got me a wine sleeve. I really like it, but it keeps them fresher tasting, keeps them refreshing, because when they're overly warm, they can be kind of blah. But that's the story, Carmela. That's a story. Don't be afraid to chill your reds a little or a lot, depending on what they are. And
your taste.
Yeah, exactly. And try to avoid serving wines that are too warm.
Okay.
Even red wines. You don't want them hot. Like you say, you don't really want them hot.
Okay.
And you'll find that you'll have a much more pleasant experience, and you'll probably find that your wines don't overpower the food quite so much.
Oh, I just like that 2020 rule, too.
I do, too.
I'm going to remember that now.
That's okay. If you get nothing else from the podcast today. 2020 rule.
I'm seeing 2020.
That's right. So if you want to see the sources for our content today and get links to learn more, come to our website, look for this Minisode, and open up the show notes, and you'll find all that. And you can also check out our other Minisodes or regular-sized episodes on our website or your favorite podcast app. You can follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky, The Wine Pair Podcast. You can visit our website, thewinepairpodcast.com, and any of those places you can reach out to us directly. You can also send us an email at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com, and if you visit our website, you can sign up for our email newsletter, which we send out at the beginning of every month, and you can also shop for our top-rated wines on our website, as well as great accessories. So follow us, subscribe, give us a nice rating and review as a free way to support us, and we'll see you soon. And remember, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And the happy ending.